Hi, RPG is one of the most enduring genres that emerged back in the 1970s. Over the years, RPGs have undergone significant changes. Games now feature more complex skill trees, new rules, and mechanics. However, in terms of setting, they still fall into two main categories: fantasy RPGs, with magic and cold weapons, and RPGs set in the future. In this video, I will talk about RPG games in a science fiction setting, and I'll start with the Technomancer. In this science fiction RPG, humanity has finally colonized the Red Planet, where a relentless struggle for survival has begun, centered around water and vital nutrients. All living beings have split into several groups and have long been in conflict with each other. The Technomancers are warriors with electrical powers, and we will control one of them. You'll have the option to choose from 3 combat styles, and your enemies will include various marauders, unfriendly fauna, and a couple of other factions. The game features a branching dialogue system, and our choices will impact our future. Additionally, the game includes weapon and armor crafting. Mars War Logs. Another solid RPG set on Mars, successfully blending elements of cyberpunk and post-apocalypse. The dark storyline, revolving around a severe water shortage on the planet, is complemented by engaging gameplay with a dynamic combat system and diverse quests. The game features several factions, upgradable skills, and a straightforward but actively used crafting mechanic. The Surge 2. A rather dark sci-fi Souls-like RPG where the protagonist's body is integrated with an energy core that supports various exoskeletons, augmentations, and implants, depending on its enhancement through parts collected from defeated foes. Combat revolves around targeted strikes to specific body parts to obtain blueprints for suits, weapons, and upgrades. The world is compact but richly detailed, with adventures in every city district, secrets in every alley, scrap piles, or other bonuses. Cyberpunk 2077, one of the most anticipated cyberpunk games of recent years. This action RPG is praised and criticized in equal measure. The game is filled with captivating events, intriguing characters, and intense shootouts. It offers moderate quest variation and allows character development along multiple paths, from a hacker netrunner to an augmented combatant. When everything comes together, it becomes one of the best games with an engaging plot, beautiful graphics, and a vast open world full of activities. With the recently released Phantom Liberty expansion, its quality can be compared to The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine expansion. This is how Cyberpunk should have been at release. The plot, presentation, everything is top-notch. It's the kind of game that makes you want to erase your memory to experience the emotions all over again. The Outer Worlds. This narrative-driven role-playing game from Obsidian allows you to explore a couple of planets on the edge of the galaxy, where you'll have complete freedom in a Wild West-like world with a futuristic twist. The development team is known for their meticulously crafted games with a plethora of gameplay mechanics and player influence on the world. This time, they've stuck to their traditions. Here, you'll find a fantastic story, companions with individual backgrounds, and a quirky world filled with monsters and warring factions. Terminator Resistance. No one expected much from a game set in the Terminator universe that came out in 2019, and you might not even have known about it. However, this action RPG, telling a story that takes place between the first and second movies, turned out to be excellent. It skillfully blends shooter and RPG mechanics. You'll have to deal with cyborgs using futuristic weaponry, and in between firefights, you'll manage your affairs at the base, take on additional quests, upgrade the main character's skills, and search for valuable items in the post-apocalyptic world for crafting and trading. Inquisitor Martyr, a dark action RPG where, by the Emperor's will, we take on the role of an Inquisitor tasked with purging a sector tainted by the forces of chaos. This is one of the best games set in the Warhammer universe in recent years, offering multiple worlds, classes, and specializations to explore. You can also play cooperatively with up to 4 players. Additionally, there's a newer expansion called Inquisitor Prophecy that continues the storyline of its predecessor, delving into conspiracies, betrayals, the Ecclesiarchy's dogma, all shrouded in a dark atmosphere and ambience. Outriders, a cooperative action RPG that combines intense gunfights with magical abilities. It's essentially a looter-shooter that has you searching for the best gear amidst a hail of bullets and magic as one of 3 travelers, each with distinct classes. The combat is dynamic, and the storyline will keep you engaged for 20 to 30 hours of real-time play as you explore the vast expanse of a distant planet, battle enemies, and develop your characters. The abundance of loot, which can and should be used in combat, adds to the excitement. Shadowrun Hong Kong. This is a neo-noir cyberpunk tale based on the classic tabletop game. The main action takes place in a futuristic Earth where, in addition to cyberpunk elements, there is also magic and fantasy. You play as a Shadowrunner, a covert mercenary making a living through espionage. The game offers a character editor with extensive options, a skill tree, and various cyber weapons that can be integrated into the character's body. Mass Effect Series, a sci-fi action RPG series that is still considered one of the best in the RPG genre. The main events are set in the future, where humans join the Galactic Council on the Citadel space station alongside other alien races to convince them of a growing threat to all sentient life. Each game in the series features a deep role-playing system, intriguing companions, a compelling storyline, and a plethora of moral dilemmas. Scarlet Nexus. This game transports us to a future world plagued by mutants, and against them stand the psychics who wield supernatural abilities. These heroes defend humanity and are willing to sacrifice everything to win. The game features a dynamic combat system utilizing telekinesis. Developers skillfully blend an anime-style setting and a touching story in a dying world, all complemented by appealing visual design. Deus Ex Series, a renowned first-person shooter series with RPG and stealth elements, beloved by players for its non-linearity. Its foundation lies in complex level design and high interactivity, along with a well-thought-out role-playing system that allows players to choose their own playstyle. The main events take place in various countries around the world in the near future, where augmentations, enhancing the protagonist with various passive and active abilities, are highly developed. The game also offers a wide selection of weapons and clever gadgets that can be modified. Borderlands Series, a series of fantastic shooters with unconventional graphics and engaging gameplay, where RPG elements play a significant role. At the start, you can choose from several playable characters, each with unique abilities, and then embark on numerous missions. Completing these missions rewards you with money and experience, which can be spent on improving your character and acquiring enhanced gear and weapons. Notably, the game boasts a vast variety of randomly generated weaponry. Elex Series. This is a series of role-playing games from the creators of Gothic, where post-apocalypse, science, and magic intersect. In this relatively compact yet action-packed world, your actions can influence its fate. It's a game about freedom, choices and consequences, humanity, and cold calculation. While the game is not without flaws, it will undoubtedly leave a lasting impression. Fallout 4. A game that's truly hard to put down. Despite its aging engine, the game world looks beautiful and is fascinating to explore. Rescuing inhabitants from raiders and mutants, scavenging abandoned factories for valuable equipment, crafting armor, or building your settlement. The game exudes a rich atmosphere, an intriguing storyline, quest variability, and engaging interactions with companions. While additional quests may not seamlessly integrate into the main story, and the technical side leaves room for improvement, this post-apocalyptic world can captivate you for a long time. Starfield. This is the first entirely new title from Bethesda in 25 years. What have the developers prepared for us? They've crafted a journey into the future where our planet has perished, sending surviving humans to explore distant stars. However, it turns out to be a typical Fallout 4 in space. Completing the game will take about 100 hours of real-time gameplay, a feat only true Bethesda fans will achieve. The main drawbacks of the game include numerous mechanics that often go unused, a vast yet essentially empty world, and frequent loading screens. However, this doesn't mean the game is entirely bad. it gradually unfolds, and you can see that the developers tried to incorporate the best elements of No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous. At its core, it's still an RPG like Skyrim or Fallout. I have high hopes for user mods, but that's a different story altogether. Horizon Zero Dawn is a post-apocalyptic action RPG where humanity, reverted to a primitive state, fights for survival against robotic creatures that have evolved to dominate the Earth. Players take on the role of Aloy, a young woman who discovers ancient technology and uses it to explore the world filled with dangerous machines and unsolved mysteries. Aloy must not only explore but also aid the people, improve her skills to battle more powerful foes, and craft various items to aid her in her journey. With the help of ancient technology, she can even override and control certain robots, using them as allies or transportation. Additionally, Aloy faces both robotic monstrosities and human threats. System Shock 2023 is a remake of the 1994 classic game, combining elements of shooter, RPG, horror, and quest. Players find themselves in a labyrinth of narrow corridors and small rooms, where they must find useful items, electronic keys, and weapons. Puzzles and mysteries add variety to the gameplay, and solving puzzles opens up new routes or rooms with equipment. This remake certainly deserves attention, if only to understand what immersive sim games were like 30 years ago. It allows you to appreciate one of the most important games in the genre, but whether it will hold your attention for long is another question. Biomutant is an action-adventure RPG from former developers of the Just Cause series. Players are placed in a post-apocalyptic world filled with mutant animals engaged in combat with each other and the surrounding environment, using both various weapons and martial arts techniques. It's a kung fu fable about good and evil, as well as the role of simple beings in the world's existence. The open world is rich, and different forms of transportation, including air balloons, boats, and huge combat robots, can be used for exploration. The game is divided into several climate zones, each with its own conditions and enemies. The main character will have to engage in many battles, aided by a crafting system for various weapons and a character development system that allows the protagonist to master not only kung fu techniques, but also various psionic powers. ANNO Mutationem is a cyberpunk-themed action RPG with charming pixel art visuals. The game transports players to a cyberpunk world of neon-lit cities towering above scorched wastelands. Here, the glittering upper districts coexist with slums ruled by criminal organizations. The heroine searches for her missing brother and becomes entangled in corporate conspiracies. She's not just an ordinary person but undertakes dangerous assignments for serious individuals, and she's battle-hardened. The blend of pixel art with 3D environments adds to the game's charm. The main storyline may have cliches and over-the-top villains, but side missions can offer interesting stories. At any moment, the heroine can even work as a bartender, mixing cocktails in a mini-game while gathering useful information. Final Fantasy VII Remake. The iconic spiky hairstyles and gigantic swords from Final Fantasy VII have been ingrained in anime culture. Moreover, in 2005, 2 adaptations of the game were released, which largely served as the basis for creating updated character designs in the recent remake. Beyond the scope of the original game, Remake became so massive that it was divided into 3 parts. It introduced a real-time combat system significantly different from the original, with the first act turned into a full-fledged story campaign that spans dozens of hours, offering even the most dedicated fans of the original game plenty of new content. NieR Automata is a hardcore game in the style of Dark Souls set in a world conquered by extraterrestrial invaders. Humans, losing the war, escape to the moon, where they created androids to reclaim their homeland. Players take on the role of one of these androids. The game features a large open world divided into regions, each with its own conditions and enemies. Players will engage in challenging battles against both common foes and bosses. The game's genre-blending gameplay combines elements from slashers, dynamic shooters, arcades, platformers, and RPGs, resulting in a unique and captivating experience. The storyline is equally remarkable and requires players to explore different endings to fully grasp the scale of the war. Fatal Bullet is an RPG set in the Sword Art Online universe, primarily based on the Gun Gale online storylines. In the game, players create their own character and venture into the dark wastelands. The gameplay heavily focuses on shooting, and players will need to eliminate not just hundreds, but thousands of monsters throughout their journey. You won't travel alone, but with a team of 3 characters that you can switch between. The game also offers skill trees, character customization, and a rich arsenal of weapons. Fans of the original anime will find many familiar locations and characters from Sword Art Online. That's all, thank you for watching. The Image Game channel was with you. Have a good day.